Francisco 49ers Greg Papa, sponsored by Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard of the public adjusting industry.
Joining us right now, the voice of the San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Greg Papa, on a Victory Friday. Good morning.
One of the greatest road wins in the history of the franchise.
Amen.
I think you'd have to say that epic in the 88 NFC Championship game, the bitter conditions in Chicago, maybe a little higher, but I'm not sure when you consider all the injuries and the fact that, that was not the Bears team off the Super Bowl in 85. That was a few years later. But still, one of the great teams defensively and the challenge of playing on the road. But to beat the defending Super Bowl champions, all their star power on offense, and what was left of the Niner defenders and Eric Kendricks, who I've been calling for several weeks to get on the field in some form, took over because of an injury to Tatum Bethune, just balled out, and so did Garrett Wallow. And I think they may get the winners back in this game, which will help. So we'll see how it all goes. But Philadelphia was a monumental challenge. But this game, and they're going through, walk through this morning, and they'll fly to Seattle. This group has played a lot of big games in that stadium. CenturyLink, one of the open Lumen Field now, but they never played a playoff game there. So this is a survival. The winner advances out of the championship game. If it's Seattle, they'll host that game. The loser, there's a finality in this. You just don't think you're ever going to lose. And then when it does happen, it's like death. Immediately it's over. So huge win last week, but they got to keep stacking them. Mm-hmm. Maybe get Dean back, maybe get Ricky Pearsall back, and let's see if we can flip what happened on January the 3rd.
Yeah, so Greg, I'd love that your feedback on Kyle so well, and I'm such a fan of his. I think he's just an incredible coach. Like just the read to call the trick play when he did. Obviously, execution's important. They did it, but what do you think the advantage is for Kyle to kind of have his offense humbled a few weeks ago? I know it's really recent, but he gets another crack at it. Is he kind of that mad scientist that he'll be able to crack that code this week, or is Seattle's defense just too good?
Well, that's the endeavor, obviously, is to figure it out. They are good. They're really good. And they were good against the Niners in the season opener back in September up there. And McCaffrey had a decent game, but the two games combined, JC, doesn't even have 100 yards rushing. He has 92. And they've also controlled him as a pass catcher. So they're just I think this defense that Seattle has built, and Ted Wynn wrote about this in The Athletic this week, and I kind of was thinking why they're so good, but then he said specifically, he wrote, this defense was built to stop the Niners' offense. And I think the Rams rebuilt their defense and their offensive line to stop being bullied by the Niners when the Niners beat them 9 straight regular season games. This defense, in particular, 2 players, Nick Emanwuri, the rookie, I don't know what the hell he is. He's a safety, a defensive back, a nickel, a rush end. Really what he is a linebacker that they lined up next to Ernest Jones IV, or as I call him, Jones IV, because I got the IV in my pick line and I see the back of his jersey and I see Jones IV. He's giving this guy, this defense some juice, and man, is he good. Great player. And then he's a second-team All-Pro. And then Devin Witherspoon. So when they go, off the ball, they're playing basically a 4-1-6 defense. They have 4 down linemen, 1 linebacker, Jones IV, and 6 defensive backs. They got 2 safeties high. They got, Reek Woolen, Josh Jobe, and those 2 jokers, Devin Witherspoon and Emanwuri, is what sets their defense apart. And they just take everything away in the middle. They don't care what kind of package you're in. Kyle kind of dupes the league by playing use check so much. So you've got 2 backs on the field, plus a tight end, known as 21 personnel, which means most teams match up with a big, heavy personnel package. I don't think Mike McDonald cares. I'm playing Emanwuri. I'm playing Witherspoon. I'm going to play 2 safeties high, and my defensive line is so good with Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, the old guard D linemen, the way they get off blocks. You can't block them for long. And then that Byron Murphy, the second, the young tackle from Texas, is a monster. Guy's got 7 sacks on the year. He's a great run player. I don't think they care. I think we're going to play our guys, and we're just going to slam you. So for Kyle, the edge he has in personnel and angles and creating, use check with that dash motion, it hasn't been as effective. But I think they'll figure out a way to be able to if they can't run the ball, I don't want to say we're going to lose, but it's the bedrock of the offense. You've got to be able to run the ball, at least some, against them. And to do that, you got to convert on third down. They didn't run the ball very well September the 7th in Seattle, but they converted on third down. They were 7 for 14 on third and fourth down combined, which allowed you to get back to first down and run the ball. And maybe you're only getting up a couple of yards, but you don't want to get in the situation where you're straight drop back passing all day against them all night, because they're good. They got too many good edge rushers, and he brings the exotic. So you've got to be able, to run the ball against them. You mentioned that the trick play. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of the great plays in the history of the NFL. I've watched that play back 50 times. The way they set it up by running Sky Moore on a jet sweep at the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter starts, first play, they're going to change the wind, come more downhill with the wind at your back, which helped Juwan. Still a great throw. The throw and the catch are unbelievable with Jennings and Christian. But the way Kyle and Clay Kubiak and Chris Furster set that up, it looked like a jet sweep to Sky Moore. Then it looked like a jet sweep reverse to Sky Moore, with the flip to Jennings, because they pulled a guard, Dominic Pooney. It looked like a running play to start, and then a reverse off the run, and now it's occupied Quinyon Mitchell. The key was to get the safety Reed Blankenship to think it was going to be a run and then a reverse, and he came up and he dropped McCaffrey. You can't let McCaffrey get behind you. I don't care what they're doing back there. Give up a 5-yard reverse to Jennings. Don't give up a touchdown over the top to McCaffrey. You can't do that. He bit. Okay, so I take you back to the game January the 3rd against Seattle. A play probably none of you remember because it didn't work. They ran a reverse flea flicker, and it was supposed to be a deep shot to Kittle, like a play they ran a couple of years ago against Dallas on a Sunday night, or a deep shot to Kendrick Bourne. McCaffrey took a handoff going right. Demarcus Robinson took a reverse coming back the other way, and he flipped it back to Brock. It's a reverse flea flicker to the tight end, but they took it away. So the Niners had a built-in check down. It went to McCaffrey in the right flat, picked up 6 yards. I watched them practice that play. The one walkthrough I've been to all year, they ran that play 20 times. Every different version of that play. They're doing that in 2 hours. They're going to do that again. They're going to get on the practice field, have one last walkthrough where they go through the openers, and then at the end of it, they go inside the red zone, and outside the red zone, they like to run these trick plays. Seattle did not bite on that trick play at all. All their guys stayed home. Julian Love, I think, took George. One of their other corners took Kendrick Bourne. They didn't bite, and they forced the check down, and it became a 6-yard, for completion. That's the kind of defense Seattle has, different than Philadelphia's, which Philadelphia's make the splash play, but they're still young, and you can move some of those guys. These guys are young. Heeman Warrior's a rookie. Witherspoon's in his third year. He's made the Pro Bowl every year, by the way. But they have Jones IV. That guy's been in the league for a long time with the Rams, with Tennessee, and now in Seattle. They have Leonard Williams. They have DeMarcus Lawrence. They have Reek Woolen. These guys have played a lot of football. Now, a lot of them have not played playoff games. That'll be a little different environment there. But the Sky Bang reverse pass, or as I call it, the Sky Rizzy play, one of the great plays, the Sigma Rizzy, unbelievable play, but it worked against Philadelphia. Will that kind of play work against Seattle? I've shown a lot of evidence where you can't trick these guys. You have to line up and just beat them subtly, and I think it comes down to just individual matchups winning them, but they have great respect for this defense. And on the other side of it, they got to stop the run. If Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III combine for 180 yards rushing, then it's going to be difficult to force Sam Darnold into his mistake or two a week.
as we talked to Greg Papa, the voice of the Niners, when it gets to this level, numbers float around all the time, stats, history, trends. And the couple that caught my eye, Kyle Shanahan is 4-0 in the divisional round. Brock Purdy is 4-0 at Lumen Field. Since Kyle Shanahan got to be the head coach, the Niners have played 7 games in which they face a team they played within the last month. They're 5-2. They're 3-0 in facing a team the second time within 3 weeks. Do you, as the encyclopedia of all things football, do you ever put stock in any of those types of stats?
Certainly. Now, but you're 3-0 within facing a team within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I remember vividly, they lost the second matchup. We played the Rams on January the 9th, the last game of the year, at SoFi. Fell behind 17-0. Remember the game? And McVay ran on the field when Tyler Higbee scored the touchdown. Niners came back and won that game, and that was an elimination game. Had the Niners lost that game, New Orleans would have made the playoffs. We came back and won. It was epic. We played them exactly 3 weeks later on September 30th in the NFC Championship game and lost. So that, I don't know where that stat was.
I'll tell you exactly where. This is great. You know who tweeted that stat? A guy named Adam Copeland. That's where I'm getting it from.
I'm going to go see Copes in a couple hours. Does that include playoffs? I assume
it just says he's 3-0 and facing a team a second time within 3 weeks. Fake news.
There's a loss right there.
Yeah. You knew Greg would know.
You know what's odd? Because I remember that game so well because we had a lead going to the fourth quarter. George Kittle scored a touchdown. At the time, his only playoff touchdown. And then first play of the fourth quarter, Cooper Kupp lost K1. And it was on. And then it was an assault in that fourth quarter. And the Rams took it, and Jimmy got sacked by Aaron Donald. And we couldn't convert a 2nd and 1 or a 3rd and 2. A lot of it was because Trent was hurt. And Eric Weddle made a great play on the 3rd and 2. Anyway, this game is strange that way. The other side of it is Seattle's not played a game since the game January the 3rd.
Yeah.
The Niners did play a game. The Niners have changed considerably, or in spots. Eric Kendricks is now your Mike linebacker. They picked on Tatum Bethune on January the 3rd. I like what Tatum's been doing, but man, teams went at him. The Rams picked on him. Seattle picked on him. He had a lot of stats. People loved him. But when you really look at it closely, he was giving up a lot of subtle things. That 3rd and 17 was his fault. The cutback run by Zach Charbonnet, the 27-yard touchdown in the first quarter, their second drive. That's a play that he was in the wrong gap. And Jair Brown got nosy, jumped inside. Anyway, Eric Kendricks is a much better football player than Tatum Bethune. Tatum's just young. So Eric Kendricks is going to be your Mike linebacker. Jair Brown's not going to Seattle. He's got a hamstring injury. Marquise Siegel is going to be the starting safety in this game with Malik Mustafa. I love those guys. Those guys are hammers. But they're not Earl Thomas types. The reason Cam Chancellor was so good in Legion of Boom is he had Earl Thomas protect and erase everything in center field. I do worry about both of these undersized safeties being able to protect the post, and also when you play two safeties high, they're gonna run Jackson Smith and Jigba on you and just run a post or a bang 8 or something, or an over route where one of those safeties has to cover on the backside, and Jackson Smith and Jigba can do everything. He can also go up and high point the ball. The guy is one of the greatest wide receiver talents of all time. So we've changed a little bit. We're also playing Diamador Lenore in a subtle way. He's not playing sides anymore, where he's just on the offensive right at left corner and Renardo Green's on the other side against Philadelphia. And it took me a while to figure out, what are they doing here? He was playing boundary and field, where whichever hash mark the ball went to, Diamador went to that side. And that's where the elite corners play in football. J.C. Horn in Carolina, Quinyon Mitchell in Philadelphia. Seattle does that with Devin Witherspoon when they're not in the nickel. When they're in the nickel, he goes inside. So when they're looking at it, Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator, is looking at it, they'll say they're different. They got a new Mike linebacker. They had a new weak side linebacker. The 49ers had this guy wearing number 49, Garrett Wallow. Who the hell's that? He did come in and play against Seattle because of the injuries to Bethune and D that night. So they have some knowledge of them. But we've changed a little bit because we had to play a grueling game and got hurt in the Seattle game. They're going to have their left tackle back, Charles Cross. Outside of that, this whole Sam Darnold thing is pure gamesmanship. He's fine. He's playing.
Yeah.
What are we going to study Drew Lock all day and night? But they've been anyway. I mean, they know who the backup quarterback is. They know who Jalen Milroe is. Their third quarterback. I wonder if he'll be active in the game, and they'll run a little package for him to run the ball, out of a wildcat. So, but it's a funky game. This is the first time in the history of the NFL that teams met in the season opener, the last game of the regular season, and then at any point in the playoffs.
Wow.
Never happened before. And then for Seattle, what's funky is they haven't played a game, and they kicked the Niners' ass 2 weeks earlier. So are they just going to line up and play? I was thinking that was the one game I called this year. I don't know if I said it on the air. I don't think I did, but maybe I did because I'm nuts. I said, honestly, Seattle beat the Niners soundly for 4 quarters tonight. If we played them 4 more quarters tonight, I don't think it changes. They were just on it. So you know what? We're going to play quarters 5, 6, 7, and 8. But it's 2 weeks in between. We're not picking it up from that same night. We're all taking a timeout. We're going to change things. We went and played a game. They haven't played a game. And now we'll see what changes are made and strategic maneuvers by the coaching staff. But I think this is man on man. This is just, you got to block Leonard Williams better. You got to block Byron Murphy better. You got to block DeMarcus Lawrence better. You got to tackle better. You missed 18 tackles in the game, and those guys are 2 of the best running backs in football for forcing missed tackles. You can't do that. You got to get them on the ground. You got to force Sam Darnold into a mistake. He almost did with a near fumble. So little things like that will flip the football game. So I think the Niners are confident that they can do this, but this will be a challenge, and obviously having the venue change as well, not playing this game at Levi's, but rather playing it up at Lumen.
May the improbable run continue for our San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, tell your boy Copes he burned your other boy on the air with the...
I'm going to check that. If you take away the season, it's maybe accurate, but I think the postseason was what it's all about. That's all that really matters.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, you're the best. We appreciate you, and I hope next week we're recapping another amazing win on the brink of a Super Bowl, my friend.
Well, you know what? I just got the okay from my doctor on Tuesday night. If the Niners win this game, Fred Warner won't be the only one coming back.
Let's go!
Yes!
Let's go! Breaking
now they got to do it. Now they got it.
I played up L.A. a lot. 80-degray weather, laying by the beach. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it's Chicago and it's 8 degrees, I'll have to run that one by them a little bit. We'll figure it out.
Let's go.
So,
Either way,
win this game, boys. Let's win this game.
Either way, the practice window is back open. Greg, love you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's awesome.
That's great.